Dealing with dog walkers, Cai Ap Bryn calms a rattled rambler while out deer stalking.
I don't know who she thought I was, really, you know.
Just shouted like, oh,
yeah.
oh.
Get into wildfowling. We're out with the Devon Wildfowlers in the west and we join Nicole Moore with Whittlesea Wildfowlers in the east.
Falling over in the mud.
I didn't fall in the mud, just...
Protest. We join 100 locals led by riverkeepers in a demonstration against southern water polluting the river Test, and among the donkey jackets crowding around the brazier is former Formula One boss Ross Brawn.
I'm here today to protest against the dumping of raw sewage into the river Test.
Ryan Charlton talks about Spartan bipods. Podcast this week is about servicing your gun. David brings you the news from the new stump, and James has the best YouTube hunting films in this week's Hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. In a busy British countryside, there's no such thing as a normal stalk. And for some reason, things tend to happen to Cai more than most. There was the youngster who blew our chances playing his French horn, plus multiple dog-walker interactions.
What the hell?
Which Cai deals with exceptionally well. No wonder he's just been crowned Best Influencer at the Eat Game Awards. As dawn breaks, it's a normal day in the office, just with less rain.
What a gorgeous morning. It's been so wet the last few weeks, it's been absolutely horrendous, but the last few days it's just been really, really nice.
Cai's friend Trigger from Norway is on another part of his ground, completing a successful hunting trip to the UK.
Trigger's out on a neighbouring farm. He's the mad Norwegian. He's come over for a few days. We try and catch up with each other once a year. I just put him on a group of deer, so hopefully he's had some success. And then we're going to head down on a new permission I've got here. So I've got a lovely big sloping field here. Sometimes it literally is like the Serengeti. We'll see what it's like today. Probably barren, knowing our luck.
With his new Bergara Wilderness in 308, we head off to find fallow.
This is a gorgeous rifle, look at that. Salesman.
Cai knows they're in this valley. It's just where.
I've got really good clarity actually through this, but visibility is obviously quite poor, but I can tell straight away there's nothing there. It saves a lot of time.
The thermal is a go-to tool for Cai. As much as this is something he loves, he also needs results for his wild meat catering company, Game and Flames. The fields are suffering from weeks and weeks of rain, so Cai may pass up opportunities due to challenging extraction. Eventually we find the deer. They're in a block of woodland. The first opportunity doesn't present a safe backstop.
I've got a backstop. Bumped a grip of does they look like, and some yearlings down at the bottom here. We just come into the wood, and one of the ones spotted us. I tried to get in position, but they moved on, so we'll try and let them settle and catch up with them.
150 yards further on, Cai has a shot through a gap in the trees.
We were following them around for ages, but we just saw them through there, and I saw a young buck there just kind of stopped in his tracks. Felt like a really good safe shot, so we're going to go and see now, just follow him up. I can see something down here. Very happy with that. A nice buck to take. Really, really nice.
What type of 308 is it?
So this is soft nose, 160 grain. I put the scope on the rifle on the Bergara just before trigger came actually on Monday. It took me 15 minutes to zero it in. Straight from the box is half an inch. And I can't really ask for any more than that. And consistently dropped deer since I've zeroed it in. We've had a very busy week in the deer as well. So
how are you with your deer numbers now and getting to fill those freezers?
We're a little bit behind just because it's been so wet. I mean, I think most of us, you know, a lot of the stalkers know the last few weeks has been just absolutely just ridiculously wet, especially down here in the south. So extraction's a big problem. Oh, there's a lady with a dog. Let's move.
Cai hears a walker calling her dogs, but she spots us and shouts. Cai unloads his rifle, leaves it with David and heads up to see her.
It's just the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? You know, and like I said, hearts and minds. You got to explain clearly. You know, you can't.
Who did she think you were?
I don't know who she thought I was, really. You know.
She just shouted like, "Oi!"
Yeah, oi. And
so when you first went up to her, what did she say?
She goes, what are you doing here? And I explained it, I'm shooting. And she, yeah, so she goes, shooting what? Shooting the deer. And she said she saw me drag something. She saw the belly of it. She goes, was it one of the white ones? And I said, no.
Isn't it funny about the white ones?
I think people it's sentimental because the people think they're rare, but actually around here they're not really that rare. There's quite a lot of them, but they are treasured by the local people. And yeah, I get that. I do get it, because you know, in your garden you look out and you see, well, they obviously like the white ones. So at one point, eventually they are going to need to be culled, because more and more.
They taste the same, Cai.
They taste exactly. You wouldn't be able to know whatever coat they're wearing. They all taste exactly the same. They all taste absolutely delicious. Yeah. So.
Sort him out. Let's sort him out.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's sort him out. Let's drag him. We need to drag him to the bottom, actually, because I think we need to be able to extract. Or actually, maybe I might be able to carry him to the top.
Another puffing Cai moment.
Yeah, I've got a decision to make. I've got a buggy, but it's the time it takes for me to go back to the farm and get the buggy to bring here.
I'll help you.
Yeah, I think we'll just drag it to the top, and then go and see Trigger, and then I think I'm starving. Are you?
Yeah.
Could do with a nice brunch or breakfast. So far Trigger's got 2, I've got 1, and it's been a very successful morning, so very pleased.
So a slice of charm and a haunch of venison saves the day and keeps the locals on side. For more information about the Bergara Wilderness and other Bergara rifle models, head to artemisoutdoorsuk.co.uk. Thanks, Cai. Now, in this week's Fieldsports Extra, we have a man with a fox target, a Fieldsports member, and a sporting agent selling pheasants to Americans.
The Brits have arrived, yeah.
Also in Fieldsports Extra, we are giving away the Fox Target priced at £150 that the man from Tom's Targets was talking about. Link to it below. Easiest way to win it is to watch Fieldsports Extra, which goes out the night before this show, only to Fieldsports members. Easiest way to watch Fieldsports Extra is to join those members. The Fieldsports Nation will send you a goodie box, link to that below too. Next up, our very own fake fox. It's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. People running a countryside community shop have praised local police after an extraordinary attack. Poachers left dozens of dead hares scattered on the ground outside the Broughton community store in Hampshire. The criminals impaled a dead owl and a kestrel on the shop's door handle. Store Secretary Mike Hensman says police acted quickly to investigate and have already made progress in finding the culprits. A car believed to have been driven by the criminals was found dumped near the scene. BBC TV presenter Chris Packham muddled poachers with gamekeepers as he tried in a tweet to pin the action on local shoots and hunts. 2 of the UK's parliaments are due to debate bills this week aimed at ending shooting sports. A Holyrood debate on legislation seeking to regulate the grouse shooting industry in Scotland and ban the use of snares were set to go late into the night on Tuesday the 19th of March 2024, after we recorded this week's Fieldsports News Bulletin. Bask is hoping that MSPs will not vote for a raft of measures including pest control bans and grouse moor licensing. Meanwhile, the Westminster Parliament is due to debate the latest version of a trophy imports ban this Friday the 22nd of March 2024. Animal Rights MP John Speller has breathed new life into the bill and has brought it back to Westminster after it was initially rejected. It needs government backing to make it to the next stage.
I mean, this is really interesting at the moment because the UK is on the brink of a general election. Scotland's moving toward a Scottish election. And most of the people that are gathering in places like Edinburgh and Westminster are now considering how they manage to secure their seat. And popularity of public opinion drives an awful lot of their opinions.
There are fears among southern African countries that a ban on imports to the UK will have significant economic impacts. Studies by the Botswana Wildlife Producers Association says it could cause a rewind to economic problems experienced in 2014, when then-President Ian Khama brought in a ban on hunting in Botswana. Happily, the ban was short-lived, and the resumption of hunting allowed Botswana to replenish wildlife stocks. There are an estimated 3,000 people working in game management in the country whose livelihoods would be threatened. A survey by Basque into the value of shooting reveals the sport is worth over £1 billion to the UK economy. Basque's survey shows the recreational value of shooting exceeds £600 million a year. There's an additional £100 million for food and forestry, £64 million from savings made by health benefits, and a massive £382 million for carbon-saving initiatives. A school has been crowned champions at the 2024 Eat Game Awards. Organised by Basque, the event took place on a boat on the River Thames. Winners include our own Cai Ap Bryn, who picked up top social media influencer. Fieldsports Channel sponsored the Best Educator Award, and one of the candidates, Queen's College in Taunton, won overall champion.
I'm tremendously proud and honoured that we've got this wonderful accolade from Basque and Eat Game. What we do here is try and instill a love for game and all foods nutritious, local and sustainable. And in doing so, we've been getting lots of game in for our pupils, such as pheasant, partridge, duck, and even venison, whole ones that pupils skin and butcher and then break down to eat in their dishes that they cook here.
After saboteurs used social media to accuse a hunt of illegal activity, the hunt hits back, saying the accusations are unfounded. SABS targeted the Cambridgeshire and Enfield chase hunt during its last meet of the season. Police were on site and confirmed there was no illegal activity, despite allegations by aunties that the hunt was chasing animals, though they did not confirm what kind. The Wild Trout Trust is hoping to break its auction record. This year's auction contains hunting, shooting and fishing lots, art and numerous other activities. Last year's sale raised more than £92,000. The Trust used the money to protect habitats for wild trout in UK rivers and still waters. Police have issued a warning to motorists with 4x4s and SUVs. A Sky News investigation found the so-called tyre extinguishers gang is attacking tyres on SUVs found in city environments. The group claim they are climate activists who target drivers, let tyres down and leave a leaflet on the windscreen which says "Your gas guzzler kills." You are up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. And David asks me to ask you to like, subscribe, or both of those under this film. Now, our news feature this week takes us to the River Test, where southern water is the bad guy and riverkeepers the fearless freedom fighters. It's all about whether we want our pristine chalk streams filled up with sewage. The answer is, we don't.
This is Southern Water's pumping station at Fullerton in Hampshire, on the banks of the River Test. It dumps millions of gallons of raw sewage into the UK's most famous chalk stream. Locals say they've had enough, and they're joined in a protest of more than 100 concerned citizens by an unexpected supporter.
I'm Ross Brawn, and I worked in Formula 1 for many years. I've retired now, and I've always been a conservationist, but I'm putting much more effort into my conservation work, and I'm here today to protest against the dumping of raw sewage into the River Test, one of the most important chalk streams in the world.
The protest is underway because a team of local riverkeepers are fighting back. Not only are the water company pumping raw effluent into the river, they're bringing it in tankers from elsewhere to dump. It's causing issues with wildlife on a SSSI and the local economy. Ross Brawn adds a significant voice to the protest.
The regulatory authorities have failed to hold Southern Water accountable, and as a result the Fullerton Works is dumping raw sewage continuously into the River Test.
This is the Southern Water Sewage Treatment Works at Fullerton, which have a pipe about 2 miles long that discharges straight into the main River Test behind us. And at the moment, the system is completely overwhelmed as they are tankering sewage in from way outside the catchment of this sewage works and exploiting their status, their licence for a CSO, by discharging raw sewage, diluted raw sewage straight into the river.
The riverkeepers are putting their health at risk to look after this lovely piece of water, which is one of only 200 chalk streams in the world. There are reports locally of disease spreading, even dogs falling ill after swimming in the river, and a water company posting huge profits without apparently investing them back into the infrastructure. Less than 18% of the test now meets acceptable water quality standards.
It's outrageous what Southern Water are doing at the moment. I know it's other water companies in other rivers as well, but we're concerned with Southern Water poisoning the river test. And they have been taking their profits and dividends all these years and not investing properly in the infrastructure. Now we're all paying the price.
My name's Alice. I live in Longstock, which is one of the villages that runs alongside the river test. My young children, we live alongside the river, they paddle in the river. They're going to get sick if it carries on. There's dogs, so my friend has a dog who lives on the river and the dog's getting sick because it goes in and out of the river. This must stop. It has to stop now, and it cannot continue. Southern Water needs to hold themselves accountable and change the way that they practice. Please look at the future. Look at my son. He's 1 year old. He wants to grow up with the beautiful rivers that we have. Triple SI River Test. It's one of the rarest chalk streams in the entire world. There's only 200 in the entire world, and you are destroying this precious, unique river. Shame on you.
I think to solve this problem, we need to recognise that utilities are private companies, but we need to get a balance between their profitability and their investments, a better balance, because at the moment it's all profit. And a CEO of a water company, if he turns to his shareholders and says, I'm going to make a massive investment in rejuvenation of my facilities, they'll just sack him because there's no one holding them to account. They find it cheaper to pay the fines than they do to fix the problem.
Water quality is being measured here to test it for all sorts of nasty stuff that really shouldn't be in a pristine chalk stream. Keepers Ben Botley and Paul Bailey collect samples from water running off the Fullerton discharge pipe to see what's in there. It's not good news for anything that lives in the river.
It causes problems to invertebrates, to fish.
It causes algae blooms in the river, smother the gravels and the other plants and deoxygenate. So
yeah, it causes, for all life in the river, it's going to cause major problems. And, you know, fish and invertebrates are dying as we speak. We can see the evidence from the kick samples, just what an impact it's having, you know. So yeah, it's terrible.
Has to end because they are deliberately exploiting a loophole.
There are issues on so many of Britain's rivers now, and the water companies are in crisis. The message to the likes of Southern Water here on the test is clear. The protesters here at Fullerton are demanding it's time they cleaned up their act.
Let's hope it has an effect. With water bills mainly to pay shareholders and not make improvements, it'll be interesting to see how long the water companies can hold out. Next, have you ever thought to yourself about going wildfowling? It's easy. Here's how. You either get it or you don't. Wildfowling is one of the purest forms of hunting. Just you, a gun and a dog, hunting wild quarry in wild places. You're pretty much guaranteed to get cold, wet and muddy, and you're certainly not guaranteed to shoot your dinner.
I enjoyed seeing everything, you know, watching the sunrise and just seeing, you know, people don't realise, if you're not a wildfowler, if you're not a shooter even, how much there is out here in the wilds of the marshes.
So we said you get out there and watch the world wake up, don't
yeah,
you?
it's nature at its finest, you know, there's all types of species of bird here, and it's wonderful to see, even if you don't get to raise your gun. So, and it's also wonderful to see.
You'd have jammed.
Man.
It would have jammed anyway, wouldn't it?
Falling over in the mud.
I didn't fall in the mud, just marginal.
If the hunting instinct in you is strong, that's all part of the appeal. But if you don't have the connections, it can seem like a closed book. How do you get started in wildfowling? Well, it's easier than you think. Wildfowling clubs around the country welcome newcomers and can arrange an outing with an experienced guide who will show you the ropes and, equally important, keep you safe in what can be a dangerous environment for a novice. Nicole Moore, shooting girl with an afro on Instagram, runs the website for one such club, Whittlesea Wildfowlers and Conservationists. Today, Fieldsports Nation member Stuart Collett is taking her out on the club's patch of the Wash, a mecca for generations of wildfowlers. We set out at 4 AM for the mile-long trek along the sea wall and across the mud to be in position beside this huge creek before dawn. The sun comes up, the tide comes in, bringing a seal that's curious to see some crazy humans sitting in the mud. We see lots of Brent geese, and a skein of pinkfoot geese passes high overhead. There are few duck out today. Stuart shoots a teal from a group of 3 that flash past. Nicole hasn't fired a shot. All the same, she's had a great time.
You know, it wasn't meant to be. Today's not the day, it's just the name of the game. No, it's been wonderful. So, you know, there's been plenty about, enough for me to consider joining the club. And yeah, it's just been a wonderful morning with 3 wise men.
See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
Exactly.
3 wise monkeys.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, we've got a bit of a walk back now, but at the end of that walk is going to be bacon, and we get to see a bit more of the wildlife, but in the sun. That is going to make for a wonderful pan-fried duck for me, probably for tonight, for dinner.
250 miles away on the River Exe in Devon, Charlie Byrne is enjoying another kind of wildfowling. The environment here is different, the aim is the same. The Exe is practically tropical compared to the Wash and has high reeds to help the wildfowlers hide. Charlie bought a goose flight in a charity auction kindly donated by Devon Wildfowling and Conservation Association, which is taking him out. He's after geese and duck with a single-barrel, breech-loading, black powder 8-bore, borrowed from DWCA Secretary Scott Harding. Once again, we're in position before dawn and enjoy the wonderful natural sights and sounds as the world wakes up. Godwits whoosh low over our heads. They are here thanks to DWCA, which has looked after the wildlife of the marshes and foreshores of the Exe and Tyn for more than 70 years. Charlie gets a chance at a duck, but the gun is unfamiliar. It's a miss.
Yes, very a good sighter. Good to see how hard this gun's going to kick, and actually we're just explaining that with the black powder and the weight of the gun, it's a much slower sort of process than the straight recoil you might feel for something like a modern 12-bore. Hopefully we'll get a goose now that I can actually hit.
There are Canada geese and widgeon not far away, but nothing offers a shot. As sleeping workers stir, it will soon be time to give up and go home. There are some Canadas feeding nearby, and if they fly the right way, they might just give us a chance. That one didn't, but then... So the 8-bore does the business, and Charlie gets his goose in the end.
Good girl.
Which is the point, after all, even if we do just love being out in wild places at unsocial times of the day and night. If you want to try wildfowling on the Wash, the Exe or anywhere else in the UK, check out the links below. And to become a Fieldsports member, go to fieldsportschannel.tv/membership. Thanks all who took part in that. Now, our podcast this week is with a couple of gunsmiths talking about gun servicing. Here they discuss the evils of bore snakes.
Customer bought in just before Christmas, bore snaking his shotgun through, and the string let go. And then said, I've now got this bore snake snuck. What can I do about getting out? So I said, well, yeah, I can get it out, but it's going to be a cuss of a job. So I said to people, if you persist in using a bore snake, keep an eye on that draw rope. If it's starting to fray, throw it away. We personally use rods, rod everything through, rods, jags, mops, as accordingly, purely because it doesn't get stuck.
Touch wood, we get to remove a rod.
Yes, yeah.
It's a half-hour podcast and there's a link to it below. Staying on the gun trade, here's Ryan Charlton from Highland Outdoors talking about the Spartan bipods he distributes and why he likes them.
Okay, so this is the Javelin Pro Hunt Tack bipod, new from Spartan Precision. This features Spartan's very unique magnetic attachment system and makes it very, very simple and quick to swap from rifle to rifle. Now the bipod folds up nice and tight. It's the bipod that you don't really need until you do. So once it's ready to go, the legs open nice and quietly, and the spring assisted legs are also lovely and quiet, or can be adjusted very, very rapidly. The bipod's adjustable for tilt using the lever at the front, and this one locks. This little push button at the back enables you to fold the bipod back up so you can stow it in your pouch or in your pocket until you do need it and you're ready to take the shot. Now, the Spartan bipod comes with everything you could need to fit it, including instructions. And Spartan have been pretty clever to minimise waste and keep it as eco-friendly as possible. You just scan the QR code on the back. That's where instructions for fitting are. In the box, you've got your Spartan adapter. Then we have some different size shims to fit the bottom of pretty much every rifle stock that's available. Down the side, we've got a series of different screws. And this is so your Spartan adapter takes the place of your front sling swivel stud. Still be able to attach your sling, but you can now attach your Spartan bipod. Now, the bipod legs are removable, so we can swap the legs from long ones to short ones. Now the rubber feet can simply be removed, and then you've got spikes for extra grip when it's required, and the feet are of course replaceable and modular. These are available in all Highland Outdoors stockists for when you need something lightweight and stable. Check it out.
Thanks, Ryan. Now from rifle accessories to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, brought to you by James Marchington, it's Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Here's what caught my eye this week. First up, here's an adrenaline-packed film from Chris Dorsey, showcasing moments when dangerous game charges the hunter, featuring Cape buffalo, brown bear, elephant and hippo. Hunters in the USA are trying out a new electronic caller which uses sounds beyond the range of the human ear, like a silent dog whistle. Judging by the film, it works very well on predators like cougars. More conventional calling, and the American channel Abandon Outdoors heads to Scotland to immerse himself in all the typical tourist attractions, as well as shooting some roebucks. Talking of roe, this is an old film, but one worth revisiting ahead of the rut. German YouTuber Hunting Felix says if you plant willow wands in open ground in front of your high seat, the bucks will come and rub their antlers on them. Right now it's the red rut in New Zealand, and in this film the Graf boys head into the forest and call several stags right up close in the thick cover. Back to the UK, and Martin from White Rose Shooting tries out a full head-to-toe ghillie suit for wrist shooting pigeons. Does it work? Well, the jury's still out, but he does make a decent bag. Meanwhile, Robin Foxer is working on a different form of concealment. He's built a hide in the woods for squirrel control, and he's set up a trail camera so he can make the best use of his time, knowing when the pests are visiting the feeder. Finally this week, Carl from MFL Outdoors is called in by a local farmer to do a spot of fox control around the lambing and chicken sheds. He does a textbook job with his Browning 17 HMR fitted with a Pulsar N450 thermal scope. Well, that's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you'd like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, jamesm@fieldsportschannel.tv.
And that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page, and we'll contact you about this show. Fieldsports Britain is at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.